Okay, on to another project today. Listen, the spirit of this channel is I want people to be able to see what I do and say, hey, I can do that too. You know, I have minimal experience in uh, building and homesteading, but that's the point, right? You move out to the country, you buy an old home that might need some fixing up, might need some updates, things like that, and you just jump in feet first. That's what we did here. We watched some YouTube channels. Stud Pack is one of them for home renovations. You know, father, son, and son-in-law building. I learned a lot from those guys. I also apprenticed as an electrician for quite a while. Never got my license because I was hurting my hands. And if you've been a follower of this channel, you know what I do as a full-time job is I'm a touring musician, and so check this out. I can't be hurting my hands on job sites and stuff and put my full-time job at risk. So I had to dial that back a little bit. So I do my own work at home, my own framing, my own electrical, even hanging drywall. So I don't finish drywall. I hate doing drywall. So I get a buddy to handle all of that. Big shout out to Mr. Monroe, who helps me all the time on drywall. Anyway, today's goal, we have to get framed in for a patio door, 5-foot patio door that's going right here. And we've got a lot of junk in the way, as you can see. This is just, no proper headers. None of the windows that I took out of this house when replacing had proper headers. So I had to redo all of that stuff. We had to restructure. It's craziness. But it was just the date and time, right? This house was built in the 70s. It's just how they did things. They scabbed onto stuff. They didn't care what was buried behind the walls. We want to clean this up so that we have some clean insulation lines so we can maximize the R value. It's only a 2x4 construction house, so we're maximizing that R value. So, hey, let's go outside. We got scaffolding to set up. We got siding to remove. We got this window to remove. Then we'll come back inside and see what we can do in terms of framing this up with the 2x8s and the 2x4s and getting this ready for that patio door. Let's get outside. Come on, Moose. Mrs. A wants me to save these shutters for a project that she's working on. I said, yes, dear, no problem, dear. Oh, cool, wasp nest. I want to send out a huge thanks to Cooper Rentals here in New Brunswick for loaning me the scaffold. They've really helped me out here. And, scaffold's expensive these days to purchase, certainly, but even to rent. And so I just want to give them, Adam and the whole team there, Carol, I want to give you guys a big shout out. You guys have been really good to me with the Musicians Expo, which is a great cause. More on that later. But then also helping me out with the renovations and stuff. There's more to come from Cooper. Trust me, their information's right here if you need any equipment, anything from excavators to scaffold to ditch witches to lifts. I mean, it's crazy the equipment that they have there. And if you're in need, they have it for sure. So yeah, this was a little bit too high. Couldn't really work around it. Let's pop this siding off right quick while I'm going to get on this side so I don't get dripped on. All right, let's go. Continue. The goal here is to reuse as much of this siding as possible. But I am learning that just simply ripping it off is a heck of a lot faster. One of the surprises that I had when taking apart the front of the house was, yeah, this is going to be easier, and I've got lots of tabs left to, ooh, that's a big spider. I don't like him. Guys, I don't make any apologies. I do not like spiders. Whoopsie, I hit you. Yeah, I don't make any apologies at all. I do not like spiders one bit. They freak me out. This is the part that I don't really like because it's a pain in the butt. This black board on here is a board that, oh, let me catch my breath. This is just, I don't know, like it's a particle board of some sort. And I know that at one point in time, back in the day, okay, so this house would have originally been built with clapboard siding. And it's still on here, you're gonna see it in a second. And what they do is they put this black board, this particle board up. I would assume in the 80s or early 90s when vinyl siding became really popular. They put this board and nail it on over the clapboard just to give a level surface to work with the vinyl. And that's all well and good, except for that these window flanges are underneath this stuff. So I need to take it off without damaging it too much, because I need to put it back on to give myself the level surface again to put the vinyl siding back on. It's a real pain in the arse. All right, the window's out. Let's see. I started this at about an hour and 15 minutes ago. Removing the siding's a bugger. You saw I just resorted to pulling it off. Lots of tabs left to re-nail. I didn't break anything, which is great. But it's a pain in the butt to get some siding off. I want to bring up something though. This is crazy. Now, I don't know if it's because the eaves are so huge on this house. Like they go 20 inches or so. This is the old style way of installing a window. I mean, it doesn't even have a proper header in it, but this building wrap. That was a staple. Crap, that hurt. Building wrap going around the window ledge. It's exposed wood here. Nothing on the sides, just insulation. This was totally like friction fit. And there was one nail that I can see in it. One nail right here. The rest was kind of like friction fit, and then there was a bunch of pink insulation jammed in there, which I'm going to get all over my forearms because I'm leaning on a scrap right this second. You know, it's hard to find good help. Anyway, there's no signs of water. There's no signs of any water damage in here. So, like, to our building code these days, or to our standards, not even code, because code doesn't even meet a lot of standards, but our standard with the building wrap and the sill wrap and the Lexel and the, you know, the caulk, whatever you're doing with all the tape and all that stuff to building wrap to keep things water sealed, it's really this was not up to standard at all. Yet the wood's completely dry, and there's no sign of water damage. So it's pretty remarkable when you think about some of these old houses that are still standing and still you know sealed off to weather and stuff like that. It's crazy how minimal some of this stuff was, and it makes you think, doesn't it, about the standards today. Over here for now. Okay, I'm so excited. Let's start here. We've got to figure out, this is a 5-foot door. So I know I measured this before. It kind of goes over to this king right here. We are going to be like, that's 5 foot, right? So that would be enough room for a jack. So here's the thing. We're going to put new kings, new jacks in here. And then we're going to clean up kind of all this stuff and make sure that we've got nice runs. I used to do this cross member thing, but with a door in here and a proper Header, I don't think we're going to have any of that problem. So what I want to do is I want to measure out everything on the floor. I always draw right on the floor. You're going to come along with me for that. We're going to figure out what the rough opening is. Then we're going to look at supplies. I'm going to run to the hardware store right quick because I did have some 2x4 left over, but it's more crooked than the federal government. So we can't use any of that. That's right on that edge, okay? So this is king. And then we're going to move this tape measure down a little ways. Sneak it past that camera tripod that I got you sitting on here. Okay, here we go. So then 1.5 inches, that's going to be your jack right there. Okay. And then you're going to set that up to be a, what did I say? 60, right? So that's going to come all the way over here to 60. It just kind of sucks because it doesn't let me use this opening 100%. Like if I was to get a real accurate reading of what this opening would be, well, it's 61.5-ish. So maybe I could treat that like that. Yeah, it is. So that's going to be the king over there for that side. So I got to put a jack next to it. And then this will be the it just needs a gentle whack over, which it's going to get. Okay, so I've done some measurements here, and we're going to be able to use this post as the king to the door. So there'd be a jack here going up to 80, around here or so. Okay. So be able to use that as a king. That's all well and good. And then we'll be able to use this one as the jack, and we'll install a new king over here that goes to the top. So this one will be cut off at about 80. Check it out, guys. Walking out onto my deck. Deck's not here yet, obviously, but basically what the object is. Okay. This is cool. This is really cool. I didn't expect to carve this hole out in the wall right now because now I have to do something about it, and I can't stop until that it's done, and I don't have the door until tomorrow morning or whenever it shows up. So I'm going to continue here by cleaning all this up, and I got to run to the hardware store and grab a couple of sticks, a little bit of lumber, and I'll grab some caulking and stuff like that while I'm there too, so that I can seal up the door when I install it. But yeah, it is time to get this cleaned up and to get this framed in. really the last step that I've got to do before I start. Like, I've got to build up the floor here a little bit. This is not quite level. Geez, you can see some of the spray foam that came up from the basement. The basement is completely spray foamed and sealed and just airtight and dry. Just the basement's so great. So look, no water damage. No water damage from that window that was here. It's just awesome. Anyway, I digress. So that's like 1.25 inches. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a 2x4 and I'm going to rip it on the table saw and place it in here, bringing it up to the top of this plywood, making it nice and level right there. And then I'll go ahead and cut this off wherever that lands. Okay. So the object here is just to get this planed out. And I think that's the best way to do it, is just with a simple 2x4 and a rip cut on the table saw. Yeah. So I think that's what we're going to do. Okay. Moment of truth. Oh, yes, it does plane that out. Yes, it does plane that out. Very, very, very cool. Okay, let's see if this one fits in. Oh, yes, it does, like a glove. Okay, that's the solution to the problem right there. A little bit of spray foam inside here to kind of do away with that crack when we put the laminate over, and it's going to be awesome. All right, let's... Yeah. That don't make no never mind. Okay, so now I've got to take this backer board that's here, and I've got to cut some from the scraps over there and put in a piece here and put in a piece up there, and then make sure that's all cleaned up. Then I can go ahead and tape it. Right now it's just uneven and it's not going to work. I did a little bit of build out right here, which matches the wall board and the end of the clapboard. So this should be plumb. And as I sight down, I mean, it looks pretty well perfect as I sight it down. So we're just going to put some of the scrap in here. And once we get that all anchored up, then we'll go ahead and flash tape it. And then technically I'm ready for the door. I think I'll put a tarp over this or a sheet of plastic or whatever over it for tonight. And I'll get cleaned up. Now, the great part is the framing's done in our bedroom. So a lot of the tools can now come out of the bedroom, which is great. And we're going to kind of switch gears to electrical. But that's going to be in a future video because this one was a long one. This has been a long day. It's 4 o'clock. We started at about 9 o'clock. I'm not going to be a professional taper. It's kind of ugly, but it works, and it's sealed up, and things are on even planes. Built this side out, like, you can't even tell. Structure's good. I mean, it's good, right? I'll put the sliding door in tomorrow. I'll film a little bit of that, and then I'll do some of the electrical as well, and we'll get that out on a future video. But I'd like to see myself head back into the woods as well, and do a couple of the projects that I have in there.
this was important though. I got to get this buttoned up. It's the end of September. It's getting a little bit cold. Speaking of buttoning things up, Mrs. A is going to be home in about an hour and a half. I got to get this place cleaned up big time before she gets home. And I got to get, I got to get it to a place where she's comfortable sleeping tonight with this great big hole in the wall. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Please hit that like and notification button so you know when I'm uploading new content. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. That's the way you can help me. Also, you can share some of these videos out on your socials if you want to. I really appreciate that. Thanks for coming along with me. I hope that you had a great time, and I hope you learned something. Please comment down. I want to know what you think. You might not get a response, but I want to know what you think. Thanks for coming along. All Things Jonny. See you on the next episode.